Hello, welcome back to another Monday with the Poultry. As you can see, today we're starting off in the kitchen. The reason being is because it's Monday night now. I was down the yard this morning and I had all the cameras and everything else there with me ready to go, but the weather was absolutely minging. It was disgusting. There was no chance that I was going to get any filming done of any quality whatsoever. Now I do have a waterproof case for the GoPro, but when it's in the full waterproof case you can't hear anything I say. Whilst a few of you might think, wow, that's brilliant, we'll just look at the chickens, it doesn't make for a very interesting video. So I thought that because I've never explained it, I'll just explain what we do with our brooders and how we're working them and what we're doing with them. So we'll look at the brooders, we'll have a look at the chicks that are mega cute that have hatched out over the weekend that are going in a brooder tomorrow morning. And I might even film as I bring them out. You might be lucky, you might get that in this video. And then what we'll do is we'll go and look at the other brooder we use, which is down at the yard. So we've got this brooder and then we've got one down the yard. So this brooder here, when they come out of the incubators we place them into this brooder here. If I just lift it up so you can see it, there you go. So this brooder here is one that we brought in ready made up. It was already made up. So they come out of the incubators and they go into this, and then from this we take them down the yard, they go into the brooder there. From that brooder they go into one of the growing pens, and from the growing pens they go to wherever they're going to go in the flock. That's how we've got it working just at the minute, and it seems to be working okay. Now the reason why we placed them into here before going down to the yard is because we can make sure that this is warm, and it's warmer in here than it is down at the one at the yard. The other reason why they go into here is because we can then watch them, we can look at them, and we can see if any of them have got splayed legs, not eating, not drinking, or if they're generally down, and we can react quicker to them here rather than them being up at the yard. Plus it's also good for the kids just to be able to see them, because it's all clear, they can look in and they can see what's going on, what the chicks are doing, and we can even open it up and we have the chicks out and they run all over the living room, and the kids just like that because they're just kids and running around with the chicks. It's great fun. So what do we have? We just have a standard, I think the Americans call them a tote box. It has got a lid. The lid's just there. I'll explain the lid in a second. So it's just a standard one. At the one end you've got an air vent. You can pick up these air vents if you're in the UK from Screwfix or Toolstation. B&Q, Wickes, everywhere does them. And at the other end we've got an angled lamp holder. And a lamp holder is a cable which runs up and it goes into one of the STC 1000 controllers. You might have seen the video we did on the curfew to digital incubator, and that's what we used. I'll explain that in just a second when we come onto the lid. And you can see in the bottom there we've got a piece of anti-slip matting. We actually have two pieces of anti-slip matting because sometimes the birds can be in here for a week or so it gets rather dirty. So all we do is we just grab all the birds out, the kids have them running around the living room, whip it out, give it a quick clean around, and then just lay in a new piece, and we can lift out the old piece and we can leave it to soak for half an hour to get rid of all the poop and everything that's on it. They then have water, and more importantly, or as importantly, feed as well. And then we use a red light bulb, not because they're ladies of the night, but because the red is meant to be easier on their eyes, apparently. That's the excuse I've always been told. If you know differently, please leave a comment down below. But yeah, that's the excuse I've always been told. So if I just put you down, we'll just lift up the lid as I send the washing up flying, and lay the lid down. So there you go. As you can see, it's just one of the standard totes with the box on top. I've tried lots of different things with this box to get it to glue to the side, using hot glue, to put it over somewhere else, to do this, do that, and whatever. It doesn't work. So I've just taped it on the top. That works fine. So what I've got is a slight problem in that the cable that comes from the light isn't really long enough to do anything with. I need to put one of those breakable adapters on there. That's my plan to improve this, and that will be coming shortly. I will do that. So let me turn it in such a way that you can actually see. Right, so there you go. So what do we have here? We have the temperature sensor. This is so we can regulate the temperature here, so as the light there isn't on 24 hours a day. Now we set the temperature to 37 in here, and the light comes on for about a minute in every 4 at the current time. Now bear in mind that was happening through May and through June. Obviously in like February, March, April it was on for longer because the ambient temperature within the property was lower. So then, yeah, as I said, on top, I'm not sure if I can open up to show you, might be able to. This is just a Chinese takeaway tub, one of the tubs your Chinese food comes in, and there you go, there's the STC 1000 is sat in there. So what happens with this is we take the plug, standard UK 3-pin 13 amp plug top, and we plug it in and we turn it on. And there you go, so that's reading the temperature of what it is in there right now on the temperature sensor, and as you can see it's 21.8, and the light has come on. So these things do actually keep their temperature really, really well. I was really surprised when we first got it and we first started to use it, just as to how well they do actually keep their temperature. It might be to do with the fact that the wife also puts washing on top of it when it's there, normally on there for just a couple of hours before moving it off. But yeah, that is basically it. That is the brooder, and the chicks love it. The most amount of chicks I think we've had in there is about 10 or 12. This time there is going to be a lot more chicks in there, so we'll wait and see. So what we'll do now is we'll take a quick nip out and we'll have a look at the chicks that are in the incubator in the shed right now, because they only started hatching yesterday. I'm not bringing them in just yet, and then we're going to look at the brooder up at the yard. So here we go, we're in the shed, and you can see this is the curfew incubator, and we've got plenty of chicks in there. There's lots of them. So let me just turn on the torch on my phone. You can really start to see what we got. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Hang on, I have to turn you on an angle so I can see underneath the moving things. 20, yep, 20 hatched so far. So these guys will all go off into that brooder. There's some Polish, Silky Polish, Buff Orpingtons, and what else have we got in there? Light Sussex, that's the ones. So yeah, they'll all be going off and into there in a minute. We've got 34 eggs were set, I believe, so we're getting pretty close to the time where they're all going to come out. Fingers crossed tomorrow morning I'll grab them out, and then I'll do a couple of changes. I'll check the other eggs that are still in there, and then we'll go from there. But to give you an idea as to how dusty that many chicks can be, you can see just where the airflow gets out on the top there. If I blow it away, there you go. See all the chick dust that's come off the chicks. Right, there we go. Let's go down the yard and have a look at this other brooder. And there we go, we're down at the yard. So this is the brooder I built down here, and as you can see it's got chicks in it at the minute. Last night the bulb actually went in the heat lamp, but I've still got the electric hen down in the corner there. So if we just lift up the lid and we'll take a look, you can see that the lid is on hinges and it just clips in. If I clip it in and then I'll show you, there we go. So it just clips in onto the chain that holds the heat lamp there. So basically all it is it's just a couple of pallets which have been laid down just to level the area up, a piece of plywood board over the top of them, and then these are bits of old board that just come off a job and have been reused. So what happens is once the birds are in the one at home, They're in there for a little while, and then we bring them here. And you can see here we've got a mix of ages. If I just jump in, they are very, very flighty still. So I need to be careful that none don't go flying over and out the side of the coop. If I go for that one. Oh, crikey. And there we go. We've had a couple fly out, but I'll catch them in just a second. So there you go. You can see that this one is just about there because it's got all the feathers on his back. He's just about ready to go out. And this one here the same, because his back is pretty much feathered up. That's when I know that they're pretty much ready to be taken out and to be placed outside. Up until that point I don't like to, but the way how the weather's been just at the minute, where it's being quite wet and windy, if I go for one of the blue Orpingtons, there we go. So you can see that this one here has still got all of its all of the down and all of the fluff from being a chick, and it hasn't got real feathers on its back yet. So that'll be in here under heat for a little bit longer. Right, I've just got one to catch, and then I'll sort out their feed, and then we'll go and have a look at the growing on brooders outside. So this is the one I just caught. I actually took the camera off to catch it because it went underneath and between the pallets, and you can see perfectly on its back that it's starting to get some feathers coming through, but there's just not enough. So if we get a bit cold, a bit wet, it'll get a bit cold and wet outside. Isn't that right? So yeah, what we'll do is we'll put her back in the brooder now, and she can, you don't want to get out again. So that's what one of the downfalls of my design. I need to get some wood in underneath, just as like a skirting area, just to stop the bird from being able to get underneath there, because that's all that she done, was she jumped over there and then ran underneath because she thought it was safe. So right, let's go outside and have a look outside now. Okay, so this is the first of our cages, and this is really one of the growing on cages. It doesn't matter which one they go into, as I'll explain in a second. All that really matters is just that you're getting the birds out in with birds around their same sort of size. So as you can see, for example, we got these chicks which are running around. These are approximately, probably about 2 months old now. 6 weeks, maybe 6 weeks to 2 months. We've got the 15-day-old chick, that's the one just at the back there, that's having a feed. And we got these other 4 as well. But also in here we got the lavender banthams that were born back at the start of the year, and the quail as well. So the lavender banthams are just about at a stage where they can be moved out. As you can see, we've got a gorgeous girl at the front, and hiding behind at the back there, see if I can get him. He is a bit hidey frightful, is what I reckon is going to grow up to be a gorgeous cockerel. And you can see we've got 2 male quail hiding in the corner there as well. So yeah, so they basically come out of there, and then they come into one of these cages once they've got the feathers on their back. That then means that they're able to keep themselves warm at night, and they're able to look after themselves. So in here we've got, obviously we've got the part which is open, and we've got part which is covered up, so they've got the shelter, and they have a little house they can run into if they need extra shelter, which from time to time they just like a little bit of extra shelter and they just go in there. And then if we go into this one here, this is where we keep the bantam hens themselves. So if I close that up, so you can see just over there we got one of the lavender banthams. She's one of our older hens, and hiding in the house just in the corner there is the black and white one which has gone broody. And you can see the birds we got here, these birds are actually 3 months old now. So we got 3 hens and 1 cockerel. So what will happen is, this is how it works. We take the chicks that are roughly the size of the small ones, they can go in with them, which is fine. At the minute, they're roughly the same. They came out within a couple of weeks of each other, so they're fine. I wouldn't want to bring any small chicks in here with these, because obviously these are bigger birds and they will pick on them and they will bully them, because we've had experience of that in the past. So smaller ones will go into there. So that'll basically be the ones that are in the brooder in the coop at the minute. So all of those ones we just saw, they're all come out of there, they'll all go into that other one. These guys in here, because they're now 3 months old, they're big enough to be able to look after themselves. So we will shortly be relocating them in with the main flock. Because they're all mixed, there's nothing special about them. So they'll be going in, and that will just leave the banthams in here. So then what that means is that the eggs that are hatching out now in the incubator, those ones we saw at the very, very start of the video, by the time they come to wanting to be put outside, this whole area, we would have emptied it, other than for the bantam hens. We would have been able to clean it, and it will be ready to go again for those ones there. And by the time those ones that are in the incubator now come out, the ones in that enclosure there will be getting bigger and will be wanting to be able to be moved out and in with the main flock. I hope that makes sense. And then once those ones out there move and in with the main flock, we'll have in there with the quails ready to go for more chicks to come in, whilst the ones in this one grow bigger. I hope that makes sense. That's kind of how we've planned it out and how it sort of works. And yeah, it does give us a couple of times where you look at things and you think that's not quite ready, but that is ready to move on, but they're not quite. And you have to try to juggle and move things around. But with the amount we're hatching just now, we need to do something. Plus we've also got ducks and turkeys, which are hatching. The ducks and that we can probably put into one of these enclosures with the chickens. I might even just put them into this one here with the banthams. Or we are expanding, as I have previously said. So I might just end up building them an area of their own, and then we can work out what we've got in the way of drakes and normal ducks, female ducks, and see just where we're going. And obviously the turkeys we're going to keep totally separate from everything else. I know that some people say you can put turkeys and chickens together, but I'm not going to risk it. I'm just going to keep them separate because I want to play it safe for the first year of keeping them. So right, I hope that makes sense. I've still got the lurgies, you might have been able to hear in the video. So thanks for watching. That's our brooders. Leave us a comment down below. What do you think of the setup? Do you think it works? Is there anything I could improve, do you reckon? And just let us know what you think. Yeah. So until next week's video, bye bye.